He was convicted of sexually assaulting a child, but then that conviction was overturned. Why a judge still decided to not release a Camp Pendleton Marine from behind bars.
When it comes to public transportation, some San Diegans feel left out.
What are their options?
The car, that's it. That is all they have.
10 News talks to the head of MTS about getting access to those who want it and convincing those who do have access to it to actually use it. But first, our breaking news coverage continues as a massive crew of workers, they gather around a gas main break in Mission Beach. Roads have been closed in the area and dozens of people have been evacuated since around noon.
10 News reporter Cassie Carlisle is live on scene. Cassie, it could be as much as 2 days before this area reopens.
That's exactly what I just heard from a firefighter. I talked with the watch commander for San Diego Police a few minutes ago, and he was saying it could be tomorrow, it could be later, but you can see all of this red tape right here, that open trench sign from the construction. Now, the leak started around 11:30, and gas is still leaking because they're trying to figure out where to clamp the pipe so the least amount of people are affected. So construction crews broke the pipe. Sky 10 was overhead as crews were working. Residents were evacuated around noon. Forced to the beach, some finding refuge elsewhere. Each person we've spoke with has a reason why they need to get home, whether it's their dog, their medication, or just simply their wallet. Earlier, just about an hour ago, we saw a firefighter grabbing things from a man's home right over here just so he had another set of clothes.
I have my schoolwork, my wallet, our skateboard, our dog, and I think that's it. It's kind of like an apocalypse, kind of, because it's so empty.
And it is just very eerily empty out here on the boardwalk in Mission Beach, though the Red Cross is here to help. They're at the corner of Mission Boulevard as well as Pacific Beach Drive. So if you are a resident in this area, you can go over there and get some help. Reporting live here at Mission Beach, Cassie Carlisle, 10 News.
Cassie, thank you. And 10 News will share the latest developments from the gas leak, including when evacuation orders are lifted. It will all be on the 10 News mobile app.
All right, a Camp Pendleton Marine is still behind bars tonight despite having his sexual assault conviction overturned. A judge denied Colonel Dan Wilson's release today, 3 months after he was exonerated for sexually assaulting a 6-year-old girl. Our 10 News reporter Jennifer Dela Cruz spoke to the Colonel Wilson's wife, who says the family has had enough.
That hearing today was closed to the media, but the wife called me immediately after, holding back tears as she defended her husband. The judge today said Colonel Wilson is a flight risk and simply wasn't convinced that he's innocent.
Colonel Dan Wilson and his family devastated after learning he's not getting out of the brig.
I was shocked and I burst into tears. You know, this man has been in for 2 years, almost 10 months.
10 News spoke with his wife Susan over the phone just moments after his release was denied.
He's very depressed and he feels forsaken.
He was convicted in 2017 of sexually assaulting a 6-year-old girl while stationed at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. That was later overturned. The judge in today's hearing said Colonel Wilson hasn't shown remorse through this whole process.
It's astounding to me that they so pride themselves on, you know, Marines take care of their own. Well, they haven't taken care of us whatsoever.
His family says there has been a strong bias against him this entire time, and the hearings are unjust.
You know, if they can't believe their own court of appeals, there's a problem there.
Wilson was still convicted for unauthorized leave and conduct unbecoming of an officer, his wife standing proudly beside him from day one.
For the last 2 years, 10 months, I've visited him every single weekend. I'm not going anywhere. He's an incredible man and an incredible Marine. And I don't care what they say. He's the love of my life.
Colonel Wilson will stay in the brig as he awaits a resentencing for those 2 other charges, and that may take up to 4 months. Reporting from Camp Pendleton, Jennifer Dela Cruz, 10 News.
A drunk driver who killed a Lyft driver and seriously injured his friend on the 163 just got the maximum sentence. Family and friends of Alondra Marquez pleaded with the judge to hand her a lighter sentence, but today she learned she will spend the next 13 years, 4 months in prison. Attorneys said Marquez was at the same bar as the victim just before the deadly crash in March. Coming up on 10 News at 7 o'clock, hear from Marquez's family as well as what prosecutors had to say about her just before she was sentenced.
San Diego has never really invested in transit as an option.
The head of MTS wants more San Diegans to ditch their cars and try mass transit. But there are big challenges. New at 6 o'clock, 10 News reporter Jeff Lasky looks at why some people want public transportation and they can't get it, while others have access and don't use it.
Drive through any of the communities along the 56 and you'll likely find traffic.
What are their options?
The car, that's it. That is all they have.
And since many residents commute to work hubs like Sorrento Valley and UTC, the roads are jammed.
They have to find a car, they have to find the way, and then they're spending 30, 40 minutes in traffic for maybe a couple-mile drive.
Sonia Solinsky would love to just hop on the bus, but while you'll see lots of cars on the road, you won't find mass transit in Carmel Valley. MTS hasn't had service here in nearly a decade.
I mean, you've got a bus that goes to Anza Borrego. Why don't we have a bus in Carmel Valley?
But for people who do have access to buses or trolleys, the challenge is convincing them to get out of their cars to use mass transit instead.
We're seeing, a movement further south and further east, and yet the jobs are up in Sorrento Valley and UTC. So mobility and transportation is a growing problem.
It's a problem creating traffic across much of the county. MTS CEO Paul Jablonski tells me transit will struggle to win out over cars until it becomes the shortest commute option. They do have plenty of ideas to make that happen, including turning freeway shoulders into dedicated transit lanes.
And have buses go up that on the left-hand side of the road at 65 miles an hour while all the cars are going 20. That's how we get competitive with the automobile.
But it's going to take a lot of money and public willpower to go down that route. Solinsky thinks San Diegans are ready to pay for more transit options.
People would move out of their cars. They're tired of sitting. They're tired of doing that day in, day out. It takes its toll.
Jeff Lasky, 10 News.
MTS is considering trying to get a sales tax hike on the 2020 ballot.
I'm Derek Stahl in the Live Center. We're following a bizarre pursuit out of Kern County, California. Police are following a suspect who stole a police vehicle. Take a look. This guy is going through the desert right now in Tehachapi, California. That's in Kern County. We've seen him basically weaving through these deserted desert roads. This chase started in Lancaster. The police were following a suspected DUI driver, and this guy has gotten into now at least 2 other vehicles. Here we go. He's about to be confronted by police. So it looks like there's a bit of a roadblock. They are going to just sort of let him go. He's going to travel in the opposite direction. And he's pulling onto, just kind of weaving around, going off-roading in a police vehicle. This is a suspect. This is not the police. So again, this all starting in Lancaster, California. Police were following a DUI suspect. I want to show you where this is happening. It's in between Los Angeles and Bakersfield. And if we go here to a video that our partners in Los Angeles posted a short time ago, this is the suspect vehicle originally. He was in this sedan, and you can see he gets out of the vehicle and is about to carjack the person in a pickup truck. The video freezes for a second, it goes black, and then it comes back. So this person luckily was not hurt, and that's the suspect there earlier in a black pickup. Of course, now we know, if we come back over here, we know the suspect is back in a CHP vehicle. So just an absolutely bizarre situation unfolding in Kern County, California. We are going to continue to watch this and bring you updates as they happen.
Thank you. Turning now to a health alert. 2 people have already died from the flu in San Diego, and it's just the beginning of the season. 235 cases of flu were confirmed last week. That's compared to 67 at this time last year. And the first death this year came about 2 months before the first death last year. The stats are similar with those from 2 years ago, when nearly 350 people died from the flu here. County health officials are urging everyone to get the flu shot as soon as possible. CHP is still looking for the driver who hit a woman on her bicycle and then just took off with the bike mangled in the front grille of their SUV. This happened on State Route 67 this morning. The 53-year-old woman was flown to the hospital with major injuries, we're told. Investigators don't know what caused the driver to cross the white line into the bike path. Bike riders we talked to today say that they can do what they can to protect themselves.
It makes me think twice about riding. Normally ride as far as you can to the right as practical and keep a straight line so you're not surprising the cars.
CHP is still looking for the driver. They say they were driving a black Ford Escape. If you have any information, you're asked to contact them immediately.
TripAdvisor says it won't sell tickets to certain animal attractions anymore, and that includes SeaWorld. The company says that it won't work with attractions that breed or buy dolphins and whales. However, the new policy does not apply to seaside sanctuaries that provide care for animals already in captivity. In a statement, SeaWorld's chief zoological officer said in part that TripAdvisor's new position, quote, ignores the educational value and conservation mission of professionally accredited zoos and aquariums.
Senator Elizabeth Warren will make her first presidential campaign stop in San Diego tomorrow. Warren is hosting a town hall at Waterfront Park downtown. People can RSVP for that event on her campaign website. The event starts at 7, doors open at 5. Warren has been gaining momentum in the polls, either leading the pack or coming in neck and neck with the other frontrunner, former Vice President Joe Biden.